Hello folks, and welcome back to That Time We Woke Up in a Podcast and Had to Explain Manga, our heated adventures overanalyzing manga that we find interesting, otherwise known as the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and if you're anything like me, then you've probably played too many RPGs in your life and always ask the question, what happens after the adventure? Well, we seek to answer that today as we dive into Frieren Beyond Journey's End, chapters 1-17, written by Kanehito Yamada and illustrated by Tsukasa Abe. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always here at the top of the show we talk about our familiarity with the manga that we read this week. This one I have not heard of before, and yeah, that's about it. Fresh read for me. Jacob, how about you?
The premise was described to me, and I'm like, that sounds neat. Never heard of it.
And Jay?
Yeah, fresh read for me. Never heard of it, and regret hearing about it.
And Matt.
So I really liked this when I read Volume 1. I hadn't read past Volume 1 when it came out, so everything past that was a fresh read for me.
Excellent. All right, and so we open up our adventure with the primary thesis statement of this. What do the heroes of the jrpg do after their adventure? Because we open with the party of heroes returning triumphant from having defeated the Demon King.
We're introduced to the hero party. We have the hero Himmel Eisen, the warrior, I believe.
He's a dwarf. He's a dwarf, lad.
He is.
You can tell by the massive beard.
That is his entire face, yes.
He's definitely not a halfling. He's not a halfling. He's definitely dwarf. He channels dwarf.
I don't know. When we see his arms are pretty skinny for a dwarf.
Well, that's when he's old, though.
Yeah.
Even in the flashback.
He can't go adventuring anymore.
His beard goes to the top of his feet. I'm pretty sure it even goes over his feet.
We have the priest Heiter.
Mm-hmm. Who is a drunk.
He's a drunkard priest.
That is his character.
That is his entire character. It's not his entire character, but it's most of his character.
He also is a decent hero, but he is also has a little bit of a taste now and then.
He doesn't have a drinking problem. He has a drinking solution, and it's finding more booze.
As my grandfather used to say, he had a taste for the Holy Spirit.
He certainly does.
So they return.
We're forgetting a character.
Oh, right, our main character.
How dare you?
You know what? Frieren is many things, and unassuming is definitely one of them. Frieren the mage.
That is indeed accurate.
Yes. She am elf. I promise to keep my usage of the K word to a minimum.
Grandpa, you can't say that.
He means knife ears. I feel the need to tell people who don't know fantasy nonsense.
You know what? That's fair. I promise to call her a knife ears minimally as possible.
I mean, I was just set to be like, I'm familiar with this series. I've played D&D.
So our heroes are greeted by the king, and they welcome in a new age of peace, reflecting on the lengthy 10-year journey that they went on and all the various mishaps and misadventures that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But much like a good D&D adventure, despite the fact that it was mostly yakety sax playing in the background, they had a good time with it. And they cap off their celebration by watching a once every 50-year star shower, marking the new dawn of an era of peace, and it's very pretty.
And this scene's actually where we kind of get introduced to the main thesis statement of the series as a whole, where basically they're all commenting on how beautiful the meteor shower is when they're saying, like, we have to go our separate ways and everything. And Frieren's just kind of like, yeah, I guess I'm just going to bum around for a bit. But this place kind of sucks. I know a much better place we could watch this from. So how about, 50 years from now, we'll just go meet up again and do it then. And then the rest of her mostly human party just kind of chuckles at that. Going like, yeah, sure, I guess we'll meet up in 50 years.
Yeah, everyone else who's not a basically immortal elf. Sure, 50 years. That's a reasonable amount of time. And so Frieren
Grows
does
up like literally rich and does not know what money is. That is the equivalent of losing.
It's that, but for time.
Yeah.
And we see a montage of Frieren doing her what she claims to be just a hobby, though we know it's her favorite thing to do, wander around and learn about magic.
I love how when she's not with her party, there is a scene of her getting caught by a mimic again in the exact same way of just, ooh, a treasure chest. Dang it.
You got me again. You know what they say. Third time's the charm.
She it seemed to be getting a lot of these lately. She's a little goblin. She just likes miscellaneous magic. Just a random, not even like support things. Just this random effect.
Ooh, this is a spell. I like it. But after the montage is over, she is trying to find a rare reagent, and it's like, oh yeah, one of those hasn't been around for like 3 decades. 3 decades. Oh hey, wait a minute. It's almost time for the Era meteor shower again. I guess it has been about 50 years. I should go check on my friends.
Plus, I left a thing I could use with one of them, so I'll just pick that up along the way.
Mm-hmm. And really hammering home the theme of Frieren doesn't understand time in a way that basically anybody else does, because she basically entirely unchanged shows back up in the city to find Himmel, who is now a Master Roshi looking old man.
I gotta say, Master Roshi's in better shape than this guy.
True.
He has a sweet mustache, though.
Mm-hmm. Styling mustache and beard. He's gone bald. He's very small.
Yeah, considering he started out as a very attractive young knight.
Very attractive and vain about it. He wanted to make sure that there were plenty of statues of him so that everyone could remember how handsome he is. And time has not tempered that. He's like, you can still make bald look good. I suppose you can. Anyway, you remember that thing we picked up at the Demon King's castle? The Shadow Dragon horn? Yeah, that. Oh, I've still got it. It's been in that drawer emitting an evil aura all these years. Oh.
Probably should have gotten that sooner. Sorry about that.
I like Himmel here because he's just like, well, no, because Frieren's just like, oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't realize that was going to just emit evil like that. You really should have gotten rid of it or like put it out in the barn at the very least. And he's just like, and Himmel's just, no, why would I do that? My friend entrusted me to take care of this. I watched it for 50 years. And she's just like, oh, cool, thanks.
And these first few chapters are so freaking melancholy. Because I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I very much enjoyed it.
But yeah, it's what it's going for.
I wouldn't say melancholy. I'd say somber.
Yeah.
Because there's not a depressive air about it, I guess is the difference. There's kind of a...
The big thing is we're building up to the end of someone's life, and that character is very much accepting of the fact that he's lived a good long life, and this is the way he wants it to wrap up. I mean, hopefully you've done the reading, dear listener. Himmel knows that his time is coming, and surviving long enough to do the meteor shower thing again was sort of like the last thing that he wanted.
Yeah, but to celebrate, they do get the band back together as both Heiter and Eisen show up as well to go. They hold their promise. They are going to go see the meteor shower again after it's been 50 years. We don't really establish how long dwarves live. It's kind of vaguely implied longer than humans, but not substantially so.
Longer than humans, not as long as elves. And Eisen is absolutely in his twilight years.
Yeah, at the very least, Eisen isn't in physical condition to fight anymore. He makes that pretty clear multiple times.
Well, because they're like, okay, we're gonna go see the meteor shower, and then Frieren just goes, yeah, it's only about a week's hike from here, and they're all just like, we're all very old men. What the hell?
What do you mean a week's hike?
That's elder abuse.
But they all go along with it anyway. They go on their hike, and it brings back many nostalgic memories of those days long ago. And we get this beautiful 2-page of the meteor shower out there in the mountains, able to get a clear view of it. And in the next page, it's Himmel's funeral.
Yeah, page turn, and that was the last thing Himmel ever did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this, I really like this funeral because this sets up basically Frieren's entire character arc, kind of. Is all these people are sad because this is one of the 4 great heroes who killed the Demon King, blah, 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 saved the world. They're all crying their eyes out, and Frieren's just kind of feeling this deep sadness, but really is not understanding where it's coming from. Because from her point of view, I only spent 10 years with these people. That's such an insignificant time to me. I spent 50 years just mulling about doing nothing. This shouldn't matter to me as much. Why does it hurt so much that Himmel died and I barely knew anything about him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as they say, it only takes one instant to change your life forever.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's 2 like really important elements that Frieren doesn't seem to understand, because of her longevity, is those 10 years were more important than the 50 she spent faffing about because it was with people that she cared about. But the thing that she voices, which is quite a powerful moment, because there are some people commenting on how she doesn't seem to be, and like it's very much the case where like she's experiencing her grief internally, quietly. Screw you, hecklers. But because she spent to her such a little amount of time with Himmel, she wishes that she had gotten to know him better, because now she's not going to have the chance to do that anymore.
You never know what you have until it's gone.
And then we start the entire character arc, which is Frieren slowly realizing she had a massive crush on him.
That was my major takeaway.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that picked that up.
It was very clear.
Obvious.
Oh, yeah.
This is her going on like middle school. Ooh, I've got a crush on that boy. But because of how elf time works, it takes her.
It's not just time. She literally says that one of the reasons why elves are so rare and why there aren't that many. Well, they're not.
They're dying out. Is because
they're all going extinct because they're all arrow ace.
Yes. So like these feelings are literally something that do not process.
That's just how hot Himmel was. It's transcended species.
We find out later on. It's vague at this point exactly how old Frieren is, but we learn later she is over 1,000 years old.
Like she's so old that literally there are. I don't want to say what is greater than legends. Like literally,
she watched mythology from ancient times happen.
Exactly.
Someone makes a joke that she is prehistoric, and she goes, "I'm not that old." And then the very next chapter proceeds to confirm she is prehistoric.
She's actually prehistoric, literally prehistoric.
It was Fern, because Fern constantly like has to get a dig in of like, you're freaking old. You're like prehistoric, and she's like.
It's the character we haven't introduced yet.
Yeah. So her apprentice just constantly negs her and tells her she's old, and she's like, no. She's like, no, you really are. This is not like it's fact.
But regardless, Himmel's funeral really kickstarts a kind of internal thing, along with Hater's Hater's
health.
There's no way the man's name is Hater, but
I think it's Hater.
It is very German.
Heiter. Oh, yeah. Well, we shouldn't do German accents. We'll get in trouble again.
Shit, you're right. Nine.
9.
Oh no, it's happening again.
No, Hyder basically tells her that really just kind of mulling around and doing your own thing is cool, but you should actually try and form connections with people because it makes life worth living. Those connections you make with people are what's the actual importance. And I kind of really like that because it kind of makes the thesis statement of this entire thing is this is a very generic fantasy setting because the entire point is that it's not the destination that's important. It's the people you meet on the journey.
Like this element of characterization is actually really subtly woven into Frieren's character. Like, you know, we learn that she likes finding random miscellaneous magic. Like an example of this is it makes shaved ice. It doesn't make the syrup. We'll have to find another spell for that one, you know. And then there's a bit of a running joke of like, you know, it allows you to see through people's clothes for purely strategic purposes, I'm sure.
I love how every time that hobby gets brought up, Frieren's always just like, yeah, no, I just like finding weird spells for some reason. Why do you like finding weird spells? I don't know. It's not like anyone complimented me about knowing weird magic or anything. Who complimented you? Definitely not a really attractive man that I would have known better.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't Himmel who praised me for that once.
Because like the thing that's really interesting about Frieren is, as mentioned, she's over 1,000 years old. Time has dulled basically everything for her, which is why she actually has a deep love of magic, but like she's been doing it for 10 centuries, so
Yeah, which is why you can kind of argue that it's literally like she's so bored that in addition to obviously just naturally having a hobby to collect weird, obscure things, that's literally all that's left. It's like I've already mastered like everything. So
all of the fun, interesting stuff. It's just the weird, quirky stuff that's left. And you know, and I mean, you know, not to diminish Frieren's Sun ship with Himmel, but it is the fact that all three of her good friends are the ones who enjoyed her spells. Like I mentioned the shaved ice one. That one in particular was something that Hyder was particularly fond of. And realizing that I wonder if there was something going on between them during the adventure that she just didn't put a lot of stock in at the time or something. I don't know if that's going to be something that comes up. But like clearly like the main like emotional thrust of the story that like is pulling Frieren on the journey is Himmel in particular, but it's all of her friends loved that, you know, she just find a weird spell and just use it. And that was funny and that was fun.
Yeah, well, that's kind of Frieren's entire motivation is she's not really aware of it on like a surface level, but even when she's just randomly going about finding magic, irregardless of the fact the hobby itself is kind of a connection to her friends, the places she chooses to look for random magic just happen to be along the path she traveled 10 years or those many years ago.
like 70 at this point.
Yeah, because we time skip 20 years in the future after Himmel's. Or 30. It's actually...
No, it's 20 years after the death of Himmel, the hero, that chapter 2 happens, and Hyder is still alive.
There's another time skip in there. Yeah, Hyder is still alive despite the fact that he said he was also dying.
He's like, come bring some bottles of booze to my grave.
He's got to be like knocking on 100 right now, since it's been 70 years since the end of their adventure, and he was like a full-grown man.
I'd say he was mid-20s, so I'm putting him at like 95.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so on the verge of 100.
Yeah, like
I just really like how the last time they spoke, he's like, the drinking's caught up to me. I'm on my way out. You've been such good friends. Pour one out on my grave for me. Next time, it's like, so you're still alive, you corrupt priest. Yep, gave up drinking, did wonders.
I'm also terrified of death.
You know what? Fair.
Aren't you like the archbishop of the world or something? Why would you be scared of death? Don't you have the answers? No.
It kind of ebbs and flows how much power I have.
But we learned that Hyder has been taking care of a orphan girl that he found who has her own aptitude for magic. And he asks Fern if she'll take her on as an apprentice, or she asks Frieren if she'll take Fern on as an apprentice. Goddamn similar names.
Yeah, there are a lot of similar names in this.
Fern is the young girl, and Frieren's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Apprentices die too quickly. Come on, not even for your old friend? No.
You're trying to set her up for heartbreak. She doesn't know how to process these emotions.
Well, all right, but can you decipher this weird book of magic for me? Oh yeah, sure, I'd love to. Excellent.
It might have the secret to immortality. Then I don't have to die.
You really are a corrupt priest. Anyway, I might as well go check on the kid. Oh, hey kid, you're trying to use a magic spell to blast that rock? Yeah, Master Hyder says when I can punch a hole through that rock with my magic, then I'm a true mage. Well, I'm definitely not becoming your teacher or anything, but here's some tips. And just like that, Hyder's master plan succeeded. Because the spooky old grimoire takes quite a long time for her to decode. And in that time, she gets in the habit of helping Fern learn her magic.
Yeah, I was about to say, Hyder is dying for about 6 months is how long she's there with the grimoire. Like, Frieren has a bad habit of just forgetting time exists and spending months upon years in places.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure she could decode that grimoire faster, but she's taking her sweet time with it because she's got plenty of it to spare.
Because if she finishes the book too early, then she's got to go find another book, and that's a whole less fun adventure.
And then she has to stop being around her dying friend and the kid she's definitely not come to care for as an apprentice.
Yeah, Frieren handles grief in an interesting way. Because that's also part of the reason why, because she mentions pretty early on, the book is almost certainly a forgery. Like, it's not...
It doesn't have that power that you're looking for.
But she spends time decoding it to the best of her abilities to come to the conclusion, yeah, my initial hunch was right, but now I've confirmed it.
I knew you were lying to me, and I was correct, like I usually am.
Aha, but Frieren, you didn't understand the true thing of my plan. You now have to be this girl's mentor. Damn it, you corrupt priest.
I love Hyder, he's great.
I love how Frieren doesn't understand that her friends know her so well. That's how she gets manipulated, even though she's very smart. She just doesn't account for the fact that people know things about her.
It again goes to that idea that she spent 1% of her life with them. That feels like such an insignificant amount of time. And it's like it was a lot of their lives. You know, it was more than 10% of their lives. The meaning and the connection that was made over that amount of time, it doesn't matter the amount of time that you spend with someone. It matters how deeply you interact with those people. It matters how deeply you connect with those people. And because these people were the best friends she's ever had, one of which probably more, they know her and she knows them better than she realizes.
And that's the whole thing is basically spoiler alert, Hyder dies. That fully kicks
for real
her
this time.
Yes. That fully kicks her into gear of she really comes to regret the fact she wasn't really paying attention during their journey. And she regrets all the opportunities she could have had to be closer to them that she didn't get to. She just didn't think she needed because she thought time was infinite. And that's really the kind of just running theme through, like, at the very least, most of our reading is the idea that there are missed opportunities and that kind of regret and just the somber nature of, like, your time with people is important because it's not infinite. And
it doesn't matter how much time you have. Your time with others will always be finite.
Yeah. And they mention humans are really good at a lot of things because they're constantly acknowledging they don't have forever, so they make every second count. Whereas Frieren wastes time doing nothing.
Because she has forever.
Presumably. She does make an offhand mention that she does have a capability of dying of old age. What that could possibly mean, who knows? Because she's definitely not even halfway through her life.
Yeah.
That is so far in the future as to be effectively infinite. But
when you're young, you feel immortal, like your waning will never come, and Frieren is very much in that headspace.
We also have the flashback of how Fern and Hyder met because after her parents were killed by a monster attack, she was about to end her own life, and Hyder found her, and he talked her off the edge of the cliff by saying, it'd be kind of a waste if you died. What do you mean by that? Well, you see, I had someone who was very close to me, a very close friend who died. But even though he's dead, I still remember the good parts about him. I remember the lessons he taught me, the courage and determination and friendship. And even if he's dead, I still have those memories, so they still exist in the world. And if you have a precious memory like that, and you don't pass it on, well, it's gone if you die.
I love how haters like talking her down from the ledge is still incredibly selfish.
Yes.
Because he's like, hold on. You look like you need a mentor, and I've got important life lessons I need to pass on.
Yes.
He's a corrupt priest.
Yeah.
That is his nature. Yeah. This is a more subtle example of it because it's kind of like 1.5 times removed. But this is also something that comes up a lot throughout the story, where the hero party, goes through a town, and there's a town full of humans who their entire life was basically defined by the fact that the hero party wandered through and saved them. To Frieren, she can barely remember most of these towns unless something actively prompts her memories of it.
Yeah.
And to her, it's Tuesday, but to them, these people defined their lives. And again, this idea of it doesn't matter the amount of time that an interaction takes place over, it's what it means to the people involved. Because the monsters that destroyed Fern's family, they're gone because of, in large part, what Frieren did.
But almost in a way, I know with the larger dialogue or the larger narrative of the story, at least it is my interpretation of what it may be, is just kind of like understanding the significance, even though it might be a small like dot on your personal like timeline or whatever, the rippling effects, the rippling the larger picture, the impact that you might have. But at the same time, it's almost like I feel that at times the narrative is trying to draw that out of Frieren, but at the same time I see that as like a plus because, it's kind of, I don't know, a backstop to being super proud and arrogant, kind of like Himmel was about things. Because they flash back to him, and like that's why like sometimes, especially like the statue or the monument where he had to pose 5 or 6 different times or whatever just to get it right. And it's just like, so it's kind of like that dichotomy of like between somebody who literally does not understand or comprehend their significance and somebody who thinks perhaps too haughtily of themselves.
And someone who understood exactly how significant he was.
I mean,
and was a little too happy about it.
Say what you want about him, we've not seen him been wrong. Like
exactly. But Hyder dies and gets buried in a very humble grave for a man of his stature. And
which is very fitting for him.
Yep. And Frieren pours one out on the grave for him, as he wanted. And it's here where we enter episodic portion of the manga. We have Frieren and Fern wandering about doing various magic things. And one of the things that I really like is that Frieren often does stuff that's like level 0 work. And Fern's like, aren't you a super powerful immortal archmage? Why are you doing this? And she's like, these people needed help. And besides, they're paying us. The pay is a fragment of a dusty old scroll. I know. It's got a spell that lets you see through clothes in it.
Nice.
The spell that sees through clothes does actually come up, but
there's a couple of different questionable spells. They're not all that kind of spell, because like I said, there's the shaved ice one. But I think that what's important to establish that Frieren isn't just a pervert.
She does mention the ability to see through clothes frequently, though, which, to be fair, is probably her crush on Himmel coming out, because I think Himmel was really interested in the spell to see through clothes.
100%. The kind of sketchy ones are 100% the ones that Himmel liked. 100%.
Himmel liked the ones that were party tricks.
During one of the little episodes, they go into a town that they had ventured through before, and she's talking with one of the elders of the town, and she recognizes him as a young boy during the original journey who had flipped up her skirt, and Himmel was very pissed at him because I wanted to see what was under there.
God damn it.
I mean,
Mr. Noble Hero Man
is great. I love it.
But they find a statue of Himmel, and they help clean it up, and they find a once thought to be extinct plant from his hometown in order to plant around it, which that was pretty cool.
They do spend 6 months looking for that. Which,
they do.
Fern gets a little upset about because
becomes a through line. Yes.
Can we move on? We've only been looking for like 6 months. This is nothing.
I think Fern is like a 12-year-old girl at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really get her age until they tell us she's 16 at one point, and that she's been traveling with Frieren for half her life. So I assume she was picked up as a 9-year-old girl. That looks about right.
I'm realizing I might have read that wrong, because I was like, oh, did she just have a very low life expectancy? Because I thought she's like, literally, I've spent half of my life following.
So I read that the wrong way the first time too, and I'm like, there's no way this girl is 50.
That's what I was concerned about.
By the time we get to where we ended in our reading, it had been 8 years since the two of them had met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so started at about 8 and is 16 during the current stuff.
Which means Frieren had to give her the talk.
I'm gonna be honest.
Went through my head.
Frieren doesn't have the capability to give her the talk. as far as we know, elves only have to do that like once every 10 years.
Once every like 10,000 years. They suddenly are capable of making kids or something.
Capable, but they do not have the innate desire to. Mm-hmm. It's not instinctual. They have to plan this out. Schedule it in.
It's very inconvenient there.
Yep.
The sort of consistent through line is that Frieren has her ways of doing things, and in a lot of cases, she's proven right in the sense that her method works, but there's also that consistent problem of she keeps forgetting that time exists. Mm-hmm. And her and Fern sort of balance each other out a little bit, because since Fern is intimately aware of the fragility of life and the how short it can be, she always wants to move, go on to the next thing. And it prevents her from, seeing the world around her. And then there's Frieren, who will, spend 6 months on a task that probably could have been done in one.
Mm-hmm. If we had just followed the squirrels to the tower, we could have been done like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones where like there's a middle ground, and they're kind of finding it together.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, like the flower one is really interesting because that's not revealed until Fern complains to the lady who assigned the quest to them, going like, Frieren's content to keep looking around this forest until she finds this flower for however many years it takes. And the old lady's just like, oh, that's no good. Hold on. I've got a closely related like subspecies. It's not the same flower, but it will look close enough. I've got these dried for medicinal use, so you can give her those and that should work. And she's just like, Fern's just like, hey, we've got a compromise. It's good enough. I'm sure your friend would be happy. And then Frieren just goes, oh, you you wanted to leave now? Yeah, no, hold on, I got a plan. And then throws the seeds down, and then the squirrels grab them, and then they find out that the squirrels are really bad at hiding seeds, so they find an
So it's
entire
canonically
grove.
accurate. Literally, squirrels forget where they bury nuts and stuff.
Yeah.
They find an entire grove of this lost plant, and they're like, "Oh,
At the top of a crumbled old tower.
hey, Frieren, I know this is early on in the series, and maybe we shouldn't be pointing this out. You fly pretty frequently. Wouldn't it have been easier to look for the flowers overhead than on foot?
Well, no,
Shut
because
up.
then the tree canopies would be in the way.
They're bright blue flowers that grow in the sunlight.
Shut up.
Fern, who's the master here? I guess technically you?
Oh.
I'm questioning the application of that title.
In all things magical, yes, but in all things practical, not so much.
Oh. Then we get a really cute chapter that, to talk about it, kind of defeats most of the purpose because it's kind of the lead up. But
Yeah.
basically, Frieren's really embarrassed about the fact she knows it's Fern's birthday and goes about like planning an entire thing of finding a nice dessert shop and like getting her a gift.
Mhm.
And then kind of backs off about the fact that she was nervous about it. And she's just like, well, no, it's a thing you do, right? Is celebrate your friends' birthdays.
That's one of those human things, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. This is something you humans do. And she's just like, okay, cool.
I appreciate that.
The strong bit of this chapter is, as much as Frieren thinks that she didn't know her original adventuring party very well, she proves in the fact that she got the perfect dessert and the perfect gift for Fern that she does know the people in her life. Like, she wishes she could know them better, but everyone, wishes they could know the people in their life better, especially once they're gone.
Yeah.
And
it's mainly the thing that Frieren doesn't even understand why her friends would know her favorite dessert. Despite the fact it's what she gets every single time. She's just like, I can't even comprehend why you'd know that. And they're like, we've been traveling together for 10 years. Yeah, we've only known each other 10 years.
That's not enough time. It's plenty of time for us. Trust us.
Meanwhile, modern Frieren going like, it wasn't enough time.
Mhm.
Well, and I mean, like, the thing that's kind of beautiful about this chapter is it is enough time because Frieren knew those sorts of things about her friends and about, her current apprentice and traveling companion. She doesn't think she knows them that well, but she does because they're like family to her. All of them are.
Yeah. She just wishes she'd been paying more attention.
Mhm.
Is the entire thing about her, is she kind of just like breezed through it, and now looking back, she wishes she had valued it more.
Also, my favorite bit is that when she's looking for a good dessert place, she goes to a tavern of rough and tumble types who actually are very helpful.
I love that so much.
Dessert is the lifeblood of adventures.
We got plenty of dessert places in this town. Yeah, we got tons of recommendations. Oh, thank you. That's actually very helpful.
This entire chapter, Fern is following Frieren, expecting her to go do something stupid because she usually does do something stupid. It just happens in this case that she's being nice.
Yep.
Oh man. Then the next chapter I really love. Basically, they're on their classic JRPG quest. They ran into one of the sages of the Demon Lord, who was Qual, the Sage of Destruction. And at the time, he was too strong for them to finish off. So basically, Frieren just sealed him in stone. But obviously, that wasn't going to last forever. So now the seal is breaking, and she's come back to finish him off because it's now been 80 years since they locked him up, roughly.
Yep,
Yeah,
about 80 years. Yeah. And Frieren has been training Fern in, all the JRPG magic. It's like, here's how you select guard. Here's how you guard against.
Here's how you perfect guard.
More importantly, she's basically only been teaching her defensive magic. And Fern's kind of like, well, I can't really help you. Why defensive magic? And then Frieren's just like, yeah, but if you die, that's a lost investment. So learn not to die first, and then we'll go from there.
We can worry about making you a master blaster later. I got to make sure you don't explode. So, who are we going to fight? Yes, Qual, the Sage of Corruption, one of the great demon king's generals. He created the killing magic Zoltrak, the first piercing spell that could rip through any magical defenses and destroy a person's body. Although I do wonder how it took demons like 900 years to develop beam move, but whatever.
Well, it's the ultimate piercing spell. The whole point of it was it ripped through defensive magic as if it wasn't there.
Armor imbued against magic didn't do anything. It was a one-shot kill with no defense.
It was pure killing intent. Like anything that held up against it could not be stopped. It was the ultimate killing magic. And
I love this because he unpetrifies, they banter for a little bit, and he's like, then I shall avenge the Demon King, Zoltrak! And Fern is just standing there having blocked the entire thing, and he's like, how did you defeat my killing magic? This is a very advanced power. And Fern's just standing there like, hold on, am I being punked? Where's the cameras? That was a normal offensive attack.
That was a basic attack.
You basic. Yes.
And it's like, hey, Quell, guess what? In the 80 years you've been sealed away, the humans have been in the lab.
This is old tech now. Let me show you the jump cancel.
The future is now, old man.
Your ultimate attack is now the standard we test our defensive magic against. And I love this chapter because it just fully reinforces like the secondary theme of Frieren, which is like the advancement of time when you're not paying attention, and you'll just look around one day and notice time has marched on without you.
Except in this case, it was a good thing.
Not good for him.
Not good. Well, not good for him. Qualified dies.
Yeah, typically the people that are left behind don't see it's a good. Like Frieren is left behind constantly and feels sad about it. Like.
Fair.
Yeah, she's learning not to do that.
More importantly, she's learning not to be left behind, not feel sad about being left behind.
Well, yeah.
But it would really help her to not be left behind if she could wake up on time.
This is the vibe.
This is...
I identify with this.
It's too freaking early.
Once again, Matt is left out of Sam, Jay, and Jacob zero in on one particularly weird aspect of a character.
Oh no, you have no room to speak, Sam. Mr. I'm going to get up at like, what, 7 o'clock every morning?
I was forced to do that for work purposes, okay? I did that against my will.
But anyway, they're hired to clean up a beach for the New Year's festival. And it's kind of obnoxious. This beach got way too dirty. Like, this is not a two-man job.
I love the explanation for this because it's like, oh yeah, this strait is actually really dangerous to pass through, so a lot of wrecks happen here. This is not a lot of wrecks. This is the beach that Deku cleaned up for his training levels of amount of like debris. What the hell? Is like a storm demon out there just crashing boats? Nah, it's just the rocks. Why does anyone come through here?
Yeah, they're there for 3 months cleaning up wreckage too.
And these two have powerful magic.
And the whole thing is they're there for 3 months cleaning this up, and Fern's just like, well, we've done all this work. We've been invited to go see the New Year's festival, and Frieren's just like, that doesn't seem like it's worth. You got to get up at the crack of dawn, and we've established through this entire thing that I sleep till noon. And that my old team, they just accepted the fact I don't wake up till noon, which really must have just pissed them off. But they dealt with it because I'm so cute.
Bunch of enablers. I love how Fern is so angry because she's like, I'm waking you up in the morning. You're still so sleepy, so I help feed and dress you. Am I your mother? I can do everything myself. I just choose not to. Until it's my time.
And the whole thing about this New Year's festival is she has a memory of Himmel and the whole team going with it and coming back and talking to her about how nice it was. And she just goes, was it worth going to? And Himmel was just like, I think you would have enjoyed doing it. And he phrases it in a very specific way. Because he said that, she goes, well, I know I'm probably going to hate this, but I guess I'll go anyway. and she has Fern wake her up, and they go at the crack of dawn. They go out and watch it, and while watching the sunrise on the new year, Frieren just kind of finds herself thinking, yeah, this sucks. This is not worth waking up this early. Well, I'm gonna say, hey, Fern, you want to go to bed? And she just looks over, and Fern is just engrossed in how beautiful it is. And it's just like, God damn it, Himmel, why do you know me so well?
Because Friren's like, it's cold, it's early, I don't want to be here, looks over at friend having a wonderful time. Ah, crap.
Yeah, because Frieren likes it when her friends are happy.
I suppose it's not so bad. Besides, I wouldn't have been able to do this without your help. Yeah, you would never have been able to do this without me. That feels very offensive, Fern. Are you? Are you doing
Look,
okay?
Fern and Frieren have some issues.
Just a bit.
And I mean, like, you know, it gives their relationship a lot of texture because, you know, basically what it amounts to is Fern does not put up with Frieren's nonsense.
Yep.
Just wants to do nothing at her own pace effectively. But Frieren kind of needs people in her life to get her to get up and move.
No, get up. We have a schedule. We are doing things. Come on. You're just going to let entropy get everything put back where it was before we even finish cleaning up this damn beach. Why is this beach so dirty?
Really, as much as Frieren loves like preventative maintenance, she really didn't do that in this chapter at all.
Yep. Continue on their journey, and Frieren is having a flashback to a moment that she had with an old party. Einstein's family had been killed by demons, and they went to visit their graves, and Hyder started praying for them. And it's like, why are you praying for them? We return to oblivion when we die. And Hyder's like, no, I believe we go to heaven.
There's no proof of that. Well,
dwarves are stuck in their traditional belief that the only thing waiting after death is nothingness.
Then Hyder's just like, but hold on, let me sell you on heaven. It's not that, and is actually pretty cool. And then Einstein's just like, you know what? You make a strong point. I'm gonna just get rid of my traditional beliefs.
Isn't it more convenient to believe that heaven exists? That the people that have left our lives are reclining in luxury, and we'll be able to join them.
The way that Hyder phrases it is, wouldn't it be better? Which I think is, I think that's the important thing, because I don't really think that Einstein and Frieren actually change their beliefs here. It's just, yeah, that would be nice. So let's just have a moment, you know?
Frieren kind of does a weird thing where she's just like, you know what? Yeah, just overthinking this isn't making me happier. I'm just going to turn that switch off.
Yeah.
Let's try believing things for once.
Let's just do that.
Yeah, it's not like completely changed her outlook on the world or the universe, but something to, you know, be happy with her, or at least happier with her friends in a sad moment.
I also love how this continues with the theme that all of Hyder's like wisdom that he delivers to people to help them feel better is also inherently selfish.
Yeah. He's a very consistent character.
I believe in heaven because I really would like to go there.
I believe in heaven because as a priest, I'd be probably treated pretty well there.
Yeah.
I just love the idea that a priest in a fantasy setting who presumably uses divine magic is somehow unaware of the existence of heaven.
Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't know if the divine magic is being gifted to him by like a god or angels or whatever, presumably. Maybe it's just a weird casting method that mages like Frieren don't have.
To be fair, I don't think we see him cast any spells, so he might just be their drunk friend on their quest.
their drunk friend who can talk their way into places if the church is there.
That would be pretty amazing.
He's actually a bard just wearing the outfit.
Nice. Got rogue levels.
I buy that.
This is also where we see we do get a comparison of Eisen in his prime and Eisen now, which there's a pretty stark difference in his arms.
Yeah, he was beefy. Our wandering mages go and find him and chatting with him. And it's like, oh, so you ended up taking Hydra's apprentice. How do you know about her? Well, we kept up a letter exchange, like friends
So
do.
he's been manipulating me even before I saw him again. That sounds about right.
Wow, Frieren, way to hear your friends have been keeping in contact with each other and you haven't, and make that someone else's problem.
Anyway, is there something that we can help you with? I mean, yeah, I've been looking for the notes of the great mage Flam. Well, all of the notes by her are forgeries and fakes. How do you know that? I'm not going to explain.
But I will. I'm old, baby.
I'm old. That's why.
I'm only going to explain in flashback. This is also where we start getting the "you're prehistoric" jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You're prehistoric, and then literally proves she existed prehistory.
Yes. You thought it was just a burn. No, this is just facts. Laying facts, some truths on you.
To be fair, Frieren does seem initially unaware that the exact knowledge of Flam has turned into a fairy tale.
Because we learned that Frieren was Flam's apprentice 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, this is how we know she's hit the millennium benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
She is a millennial, as you know.
She is. I really like this because it seems Fern definitely believes that it's going to be another one of the wild goose chases where they stay in one spot for ever, basically. When Frieren says, "Oh, well, if we need to find it, we should find a big tree. We're in a forest." I know.
Said what I said.
As it turns out, that was exactly right, because there was a very, very big tree grown over the home of Flam, which has held up surprisingly well for 1,000 years, and a giant tree on it. Guess that's what magic gets you.
I was going to say Magix.
Yep.
Yeah, because in the flashback, we find out that Flam was not only a very powerful mage, but also potentially the inventor of human magic.
Uh-huh. Because she planted that tree 1,000 years ago that has now grown over the entire house. And we have a little flashback of Flam talking with Frieren about...
basically just giving her plot hints for the campaign.
Yeah, giving her plot hints.
Hey, Frieren, I know one day you're going to suddenly realize you've been a friend and you might want advice on how to be a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are you saying I should be a good friend to you, Master? It's just like, no, I hate that. I really don't like talking to people, and I don't believe in personal connections. I think you've been a bad influence on me. Yeah, whatever. In the future, you're going to wish you'd done that more. Then as a good master, wouldn't you have taught me that? I do my own thing.
Why do you think I became a hermit in the woods?
I mean, yeah, Flam taught her good magic. That's about it.
But I do like this because... it's like, one day in the future, you're going to realize you made a mistake, and I will help you. And we find the one true, genuine article of a book from Flam hovering there, open to the page that Frieren would need.
Because she's sold on it, kind of, by the fact that it is magic that allows you to speak with the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, that doesn't make any sense. We just explained last chapter that no magic can even determine if souls exist. So how could you possibly speak with the dead? And then she literally finds magic to help you speak with the dead, because Flam goes, yeah, I talk to my dead friends all the time. I had a bunch of like unresolved drama because I was also kind of antisocial and I regretted a bunch. And then I talked to them and I felt better.
So wait, how did you do this? Oh, because I found the place where souls physically exist in the world.
Say what?
Yeah, no, the place where all the dead souls go. It's at the northernmost point of the continent.
Santa's workshop?
Yeah, that's where all the elves come from.
Oh no. Santa's a necromancer.
Oh no.
Honestly, I buy it.
Yep.
But yet, now they have a firm destination in mind, except instead of randomly meandering along the path they took in the journey to defeat the Demon King, they are now specifically going to the Demon King's castle, because that's at the northernmost point of the world, where the souls are. Surely this won't be a problem.
You know what it's worth, Sam. Some people say that heaven is just the Demon King's castle. That was a bit of a stretch, but I'm sticking with it.
So yeah, now with their firm destination in mind, they start heading north, which will probably take a long ass time because it already took them 10. It took her 10 years previously.
Fern does have an existential crisis and say, this is where she says, I've been with you half my life we're going on a 10-year walk.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to keep to a schedule.
Did you like set up a teleportation circle there or something? No.
Why?
No.
Walking's cheaper.
Okay.
You don't even use money.
Though it has been established multiple times that Frieren is very, very bad with money in general. So her being scant broke at the time kind of tracks.
Yeah. Now that we have our quest marker firmly set and a path before us, let's take a quick break.
We need to gear up for the long journey.
So we'll be back after this. And welcome back to the show, folks. Where last we left our party of heroes, they had just gotten their main quest, which is go to heaven. Because apparently that is a place that physically exists, and the Demon King built his crib on top of it. That's like the worst built on an ancient burial ground ever. But I guess he's the Demon King. He does what he wants.
I don't know. It worked out fine for Hades.
True.
Wait, no, it didn't work out fine for Hades. He hates his life.
It worked out just fine.
He hates his job.
Look, the important thing is there's a metaphor in here somewhere. And
occasionally loves his wife. They kind of flip-flop on how much.
It depends on who you ask and who's doing the interpreting.
Yeah. Really, they just, different days.
We keep joking about doing a Lore Olympus episode, but we could.
We could.
I keep meaning to read it myself, I mean.
Yeah. The problem with doing it for an episode is webtoons are just really terrible for our format.
Yeah, they don't really have arcs, as it were.
Yeah, they're going on their quest to go stop the Demon King, which we find out through a little bit of a flashback. Ison did say that if they need a strong warrior, he's too old for it, but he does have an apprentice that conveniently ran away from home to the next town over.
As it turns out.
Yep.
These kids just want to work in the mines with their small hands.
These kids, they yearn for the mines.
But we have a very sweet scene as they're riding back to Ison's house in order to, drop him off so they can continue on the adventure. Frieren, as she wants to fall asleep. And Ison and Fern talk about the adventure so far, and is Frieren a good teacher? I don't know.
Results unclear.
She just wanders around learning about magic, but and she seems to pay attention to nothing else, including me, but she has remembered my birthday every year since we've been together, and I don't know what's up with her.
It turns out remembering people's birthdays is like the Mr. Miyagi of teaching magic, because I already knew Kung Fu this entire time. I just needed to trust in my own abilities.
And Ison has a flashback to the memory that they had of seeing the meteor shower, and Frieren is talking about how this has been 1/100th of my life, which I think she's bad at math. 10 is not 1% of 1,000, but whatever.
Unless she lives for 10,000 years.
But she's like, you understand, right, Ison? Because you're a dwarf, you live a long time. And he's like, not really. After all, you keep talking about how it was such a short period, but I think it really changed something in you. And now he can see it in for himself with Fern, and he is very happy about that. It's very sweet.
I'm glad you didn't fail raising your apprentice like I did mine. I don't know where he is.
Go find that boy and wallop him for me.
Yeah, he does have a scar on his forehead that I gave him. We're kind of just going to breeze over that.
He lost control of his temper. He didn't mean to. It just happened.
Well, that's not exactly what happens. We'll get into it.
Well, they do have a brief interstitial chapter where, contemplating the nature of souls and going to find and speak with the dead, they get attacked by the most asshole demon, a demon that mind reads you to project the images of dead loved ones to lure you to your death.
Oh, Sam, what a weird take on that, because I'm like, oh, cool, I'm writing that down for my next D&D campaign.
No, I'm not saying like it's. I'm not saying like it's bad or like it's bad content. It's great content. That's
the most
perfect.
Asshole demon.
Yeah, you got to have your demons be assholes.
Exactly. And I just Fern, even knowing that it's an illusion, is having a hard time summoning up her capacity to kill Hyter again. And I just really like the one where Himmel shows up for Frieren and she's like, I didn't expect you.
I didn't repress my affection for you enough.
Mm-hmm.
Stop pretending to be my ghost boyfriend. And he's just like, shoot me. Damn it, that is exactly what he'd say. Him and his stupid, sexy face.
No, I really liked this because the demon's plan like backfired on it. Mm-hmm. It read her mind too deeply and figured out exactly what Himmel would have said, which is, I'm not
real. Don't put yourself in danger for an image of me.
You're not going to fall for this bull, right, Frieren? No.
You're right, I'm not.
And Fern does summon up her own resolve to blast the false image of Hyder and kill the demon. So, fairly brief in the grander scheme of the story, but I think important for establishing our two characters.
Mm-hmm. It's almost as if the amount of time spent on something isn't as important as the impact it has on metaphor.
Yes, the theme. Anyway, dragons.
Dragon sitting in front of his nest like a good doggo.
Yeah. This dragon is the most like MMO NPC enemy.
He's just sitting there.
He's just sitting there menacingly until Frieren's like, all right, I'm gonna blast him now.
Teacher, that seems like a very terrible idea.
Oh, well, blasting it didn't work. Run.
What? It's the Joestar family's secret technique.
No, it's super MMO because they're like, we're just gonna run outside of his aggro range and wait until he goes back to guard his treasure, and then we just keep running and tapping him. Hopefully, we can do higher than his health regeneration, and we'll just get the win that way. It's gonna take a while though.
Mm-hmm. And Fern, simultaneously not wanting to spend forever on a Frieren Infinite Time project, and also because she experienced the true fear of death in that moment, and she does not want to go back.
Fair.
She's like collapsed on the ground, trying to like stop shaking, and Frieren's like, all right, well, time to do our hit and run kite strategy. She grabs onto her skirt like, no, we're not going back.
Go to town and get some help.
Mm-hmm.
That seems not worth it. Plus, the grimoire I want is there in the nest. So,
what does that grimoire have? It has a spell to see through clothes. Finally, the much anticipated.
I've been looking for it everywhere, and it's there in that random loot pile.
I love Fern's face. The character expressions in this are very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still read so much, I'm sorry, what, in Fern's look.
Fern, you don't understand. When we kill this difficult man-eating dragon and get that book with the worthless spell, my ghost boyfriend will like me. Oh, I'm still seeking approval from people.
Ooh, crap.
Good thing they haven't invented therapist yet.
Anyway, why hasn't this dragon flattened this village yet? Oh, well, you see. Exposition, old lady who overheard us talking. You see, the dragon came and had been terrorizing us for a long time until the great warrior Master Stark arrived. He squared up to that thing and stared it down, and it left, and he's been our hero ever since.
Also, he wants to talk to you.
And they find him in a mysteriously squared off valley where he reveals that he is the apprentice of Master Eisen. And the scar he got, well, he says he got it fighting another dragon.
He sets up like he's this big badass, and he's basically like, yeah, you guys don't want to aggro that dragon. He's just going to come and take it out on the village. It's not really worth the effort. Oh, cool. You're really good at fighting dragons? Let's go kill the thing. Okay, I'm going to come clean. I'm actually super weak and was shaking in my boots and couldn't even move. And the dragon just kind of left. And now I've just kind of been coasting along on people's love. Too afraid to tell them I'm actually a coward. Oh, wow. Have you been doing that for like a few weeks? 3 years. What the fuck?
What the fuck, man?
I like this bit because I actually immediately picked up on him being stronger than he realized, and the dragon being like, yeah, I'm not gonna poke this bear.
I got that vibe with him, but I wasn't expecting them to do the about face twice. So when they did it the first time, I'm like, okay, cool. So they're setting up that. And then they're just like, no, actually, he was super strong. What?
How much experience do you have fighting monsters? 0.
Oh.
I only dug this like ravine out with my axe swings. Wait, what?
Need to keep up with my training. Master Eisen taught me well in that regard.
He told me I'm no good as a dwarf if I can't dig a mine.
Carved this ravine manually with that axe.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad ravine. What?
What?
What do you mean? Yeah, and all this to say, they convince him to participate in the fight because he's been benefiting from the, love and goodwill of these people. He should actually, take out the dragon they think he's stopping.
He also feels guilty about it too, is the thing. It's
yeah.
But the main thing he's saying is he's too afraid. And Frieren kind of goes, well, yeah, Eisen was afraid too.
Because Frieren and Eisen had been talking about him, and it's like, so is he a good warrior? He was a coward who ran away when his village was attacked by demons, just like me. Oh, I see. So he is a good warrior then. And the next chapter, the flashback continues with Eisen going, oh yes, no, he's incredibly strong. Part of the reason that he has that scar is we got into an argument, and his aura of strength was so incredible that I had a fear reaction and lashed out to defend myself.
Yeah, he was going to take a swing at me, and I reflexively defended myself with everything I had because he was that naturally terrifying. Mm-hmm. Which is, it's one of those ones where it's like, I kind of figured that he was like, it's like him plus the 2 mages would be a match for the bear, and the dragon was erring on the side of caution. No, apparently the dragon was actually scared shitless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, that was a bit extreme.
Because this fight is great. I love this fight because it's Frieren going like, I just need you to hold him off for 30 seconds so I can charge up my most powerful spell and we can just one-shot him. And he's just like, 30 seconds? Geez, I don't think I can hold out for that long. Okay, well, Fern can hold off in the meantime, so the 2 of you can actually buy the most time. I just need 30 seconds before I can contribute. And he's like, okay, I'll start this off. And then he makes one strike, and then the dragon kind of like falls into it. And he's just like, okay, come on, I'm going to die. Why? You stupid old, actually do something. Nothing to do, buddy. He's dead.
What?
What?
Yeah, you creased its fucking brain plate. It's dead.
Yeah, you could have killed him at any point. Damn it.
I really like how when the dragon swings at him, he parries the blow, and the dragon's claws
get sliced
off. Mm-hmm. And when they are busy looting the nests, which is just a big bird's nest. Frieren is like, ooh, yes, all this treasure, all this magic, my precious grimoire.
All these random knickknacks. And then Fern walks up. You may take 3 things.
Each may take 3 souvenirs and no more. But I want more souvenirs.
But Mom. And then Stark is like, so you guys need a warrior, huh? Well, Master Ison did say that the journey you took on was basically a yakety sax adventure. And you know what? That sounds fun. I think I'll go with you.
Well, because he also has a mini flashback about how when he was with Ison, the only time Ison would actually talk about himself and light up was when he was talking about that 10-year journey. And he's just like, I think what he wants me to have is a trip like that defines my life and gives like me strong memories of people. Because again, running thesis statement of Frieren is that the journey's not so much as important as the relationships with people you make along the way.
Yep.
And because we can't be too serious for too long, they test out the the see-through spell.
Well, yeah, and I know you were dying to know how it worked.
And Fern is like,
Fern is savage.
Fern casts it, and Frieren is like, so can you see? Yeah, I can. There's nothing particularly interesting there. And she looks over at Stark, stares at him, and he's like, what? So small.
Burn.
It ain't small.
I mean, the very fact, because you have to put it into context, she has a reference point.
She can actually see it, my dude.
Oh, poor guy. He gets
I just met you and you've already chosen violence.
He doesn't deserve that.
To be fair, she chose violence with Frieren too, because we do get occasionally tidbits that Frieren is a little self-conscious about the fact that she still has like a
middle schooler's body.
Yeah, like a tween form.
Yeah, like young high schooler at the best, like kind of deal. She's like, it's not fair. We eat the same things. Why am I so tiny?
And meanwhile, Fern is growing to be full human person. So
yeah.
Wait a minute.
I think it's perfectly fair. I mean, I'm just saying you get to live for like freaking ever, and I got to get down to business sometime.
You don't understand. I'm inconvenienced by what you have, and I want it.
That's Frieren for you.
Yep.
Then we get a lovely little interstitial chapter about them finding a village that has a group of statues dedicated to the heroes. And we kind of get reminded about the whole thing.
Yeah, I really like this because they get held up at a checkpoint, and it's like, well, we can't let you through because there's been some big monster activity up north. And Stark and Fern are so desperate to not just do what Frieren would do, which is wait around. They try to find all these ways to sneak out. And eventually one of the guards is like, how are we ever going to convince Frieren to just leave? And one of the guards overhears and is like, did you say you were with Frieren? Like the mage Frieren? Yeah. Oh, wow. If you just said something, we'd have let you through.
I apologize for the captain of the guard's rudeness. No, I kind of didn't want him to realize who I was.
No, we're having a heroes parade.
I just wanted to chill in town and research magic for a while.
So, to be fair, we also get kind of exposition dumped here a bit. The reason why they're held up is because the northern continent, because everything's named great here, where the Demon King's lair is currently undergoing some form of civil war. So the central continent has basically locked off all travel going north.
Yeah, the remnants of the Demon King's army are still kicking around up there, and it's causing a lot of strife and turmoil.
Yeah, this is an extremely generic fantasy world. Like the northernmost point of the continent where the Demon King's castle and also heaven is called End, but with an extra E.
I'm just saying the map looks like Sword and Shield's map, so that should tell you how generic it is.
That's how you know you're fancy. You add an extra E or an extra X or fancy.
So they continue on their magical journey northward. That's when they find the town that has the statues of the heroes. And I love that Frieren is standing right there with the statue of her that looks no different. And all the old people are just like, oh, you look an awful lot like the mage.
Look very familiar. How about that?
What a coincidence.
This is also when we get Himmel's kind of explanation for why he's so self-centered about getting statues made. It's not purely out of,
vanity.
It's not purely
it's motivated by vanity. But
he's also vain in addition, but there is a real reason for it, and it's that because people have short lives, the memory of the past can be fleeting at times, and he doesn't want himself and his friends to fade away into myths and legends.
More importantly, it was kind of he overheard Frieren talking about her master Flam, and how she's just like, I think I'm the only person who remembers her face.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, well, I'm gonna make sure there's tons of my face so that you'll never forget it. And then Frieren's just like, you stupid idiot. Like I never had any trouble forgetting your stupid kissable face. Wait, what?
Babaka.
Why would I care about that?
We're really over Sundarying Frieren, but man, the subtext is real heavy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, this is the point where it goes from like, yeah, I'd ship it, to, oh wait, no, this is very much on purpose.
Well, I think this is also the chapter where we get the lore about elves, about how Frieren hasn't seen another elf, and then explicitly states the thing that elves by their nature aren't inherently romantic and don't desire companionship. And then she has a very romantic memory of Himmel.
Yeah. It's like this is the transition point from where it's like that would be a cute ship to, oh wait, no, this is actually a thing.
She's coming to terms with her feelings.
Yeah, we're making all the tsundere jokes, but the thing is, Frieren basically doesn't have facial expressions. She is that tsundere. She just doesn't express it as vocally as other characters would. Especially, I think another thing that's kind of important is that she is way more overtly tsundere with Himmel in the flashbacks. He's not physically there. She has no one to sun at.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
It's great. Yeah, I love it. It was very much the case where it's like immediately there's this sense of it's like, I'm a romantic. I ship that. I hope. I don't know if the story is going to go there or not, but like by this point, yeah,
we're going there.
We're going there.
This entire journey is so she can talk to her friends again, but she got closure with Hater. It's the thing. So it's really,
yeah.
I want to talk to my ghost boyfriend again in the Demon King's castle where necrophilia is legal.
Don't you mean necromancy?
I said what I said.
That's what I meant.
No, I said what I said.
Anyway, you might be curious. Demons, am I right? We sure have heard a lot about them and seen very little of them. So how about we have
some gorgeous tieflings.
They are some tieflings. I love it.
They are some tieflings.
Okay. I just want to say this. Chapter 14's cover page, best cover page in our reading.
Because it's Frieren being held under a guard's arm like she's a groceries.
Hold on, you're not allowed to have this in here. I'm just gonna confiscate it.
Confiscating elf.
And she's just no thoughts, head empty, staring and straight forward.
Everyone's just like, guess I'm being carried like luggage. Okay.
The other two are in the background like, jeez.
That's our chaperone.
But this is where we get introduced to, I'm assuming, the primary antagonist for the rest of the journey. The demons.
Yep, because they enter into a town in the northern lands. The domain of Graf Granat.
Oh, that is an English name if I've ever heard it.
Freaking names in this manga, dude. But as they are walking into town, there's some sort of event going on. And Fern points out that, isn't that a demon? And turns out it is a demon, a very handsome tiefling looking man. And we have a panel of Fern immediately charging the death ray.
Grandma, you can't do that.
Some guards jump on her and arrest her. And the demon is like, was this an assassination graph? No, as much as I desperately want to kill you, I didn't order this. The graph is just extremely hostile.
Because this demon is a peace ambassador, so he is protected by diplomatic rules. But no one told any of the characters, I guess, because they all treat him like an active, I wish desperately to kill you every second you're here, diplomat. But I won't.
Yeah, Graf strikes me as the kind of guy who got through all his diplomacy checks on sheer luck of the die rolls and not a very high modifier.
I mean, to be fair, we see what his ultimate plan was originally.
That's what I'm saying. He's not hiding it at all.
Yep.
In fact, he's actually just kind of feeding into it, and just, people just happen to be falling for it. Falling for the bait.
There is a important thing about this scene is that as Frieren's being arrested, she's like pinned down by multiple cops, and the demon kind of just comes over, like kneels down and looks her dead in the eyes and is not watching anybody else around them, and they are just connecting. And that is enough for Frieren to know that this is a predator that notices only one threat in this entire place.
Yep, because he's like, you're looking at me like I'm some sort of wild beast. You are. I don't care that you can speak. You do that solely to lure humans into a false sense of security. And I was getting ready for, Frieren fought in this long 10-year campaign against the demons. Of course, she's got a natural hatred for them. Maybe it is more complicated than it appears on the surface. Maybe the demons can be reasoned with it. No. So Graf's plan was to pretend to accept this peace envoy to then murder them because the demons killed his son. And the demon guy is just like, oh, my dear Graf, I understand your pain. After all, my father was killed in a similar war, and yet I still came here in the spirit of trust and companionship. Perhaps we can work this out peaceably. Fine. I have to go be angry somewhere else. And the demons are left alone in the room, and one of the little attendant demons says, Lord, what is a father?
I don't know.
It sounded right now.
It worked, didn't it?
I love this interpretation so much.
It's great.
I love they give a flashback about, like, from Frieren's perspective, about like a demon, like a young demon that was caught and was crying and just kept saying mother over and over again. And that was just like, that thing ate my daughter. Yeah, but it's clearly, it doesn't know what it's doing. It can be raised to be good. And like, admittedly, you could make this kind of dumb. You could make this kind of heavy-handed. But they do this in such a way that I really like, because basically what happens is the demon ends up burning down the mayor's house and saved the mayor's daughter from the house fire it started, and said, I always felt I could feel your hatred in your stares here. I just want to live peacefully. So here, I've saved a life for the life I've saved a little girl for the little girl I killed, where even now I can leave. And just like, it fully nails that like alien psychology that you need to have this whole like thing play out. Like, they are literally beasts masquerading as people.
Yes.
They have no concept of understanding why you would care. It's like, okay, clearly I owe the collective something, so here is a thing I didn't kill in exchange for the thing I killed. Oh, that's not going to work? Guess I'm going to use it as a hostage. And the original Mercy had been Himmel, who's saying, like, we need to give him a chance. But I'm going to stay here to make sure it works. And the second it turns out this isn't going to work, Himmel switches, cuts off its hands, like, immediately, and just 1-2 kills it.
Oh, I really love this scene because Himmel cuts off the hands, frees the hostage, and Frieren is going to blast it, and the demon tries to call out for its mother again, and Frieren blasts the demon. It's like, why do you keep saying that? You don't have a custom of family. You don't have a concept of raising children or any sort of unit like that. Why do you keep saying that? Stopped you from killing me before, didn't it? Must be a magic word.
And it's just, it makes such a lovely monster.
Uh-huh.
Demons are so good at words, but they lack any of the meaning behind it. And like, I love
they know how to use them.
And I love how this is set up to be like the perfect antagonist to Frieren, because demons by their very nature are creatures that do not maintain relationships, but will use the benefits of relationships to further their own goals. Meanwhile, Frieren is a character who desperately wants to have relationships and has missed out on all those benefits that come along with them.
I just had a random thought when reading this section because it reminds me of another creature or monster that I had read somewhere, and I don't know what anthology it might have been in, but it's like, yeah, I just have to echo what everyone's already said about this segment of it's just a very fascinating monster because obviously it masquerades as like a human form, but it's not human. And
Jay, is it because they're basically vampires? Is that what you meant to say?
No, because I'm literally thinking of, it might have been a Twilight Zone episode actually. Anyway.
Sounds about right. As for me, I will say, like, everything that's been said about them of how they are both incredibly good monsters and a fantastic foil for Frieren, they are perfect for this story. I don't like this kind of monster because it doesn't reflect reality. Even the worst of sociopaths can be reasoned with, at least at some level. So the fact that these monsters are that alien doesn't reflect the real world, but not like that's.
It's also a fantasy.
They're a monster. Like that's literally the point. So
hey Jacob, they can also fly.
So yeah, there's like there's like that thematic element of I prefer if it's smart enough to talk, it's smart enough to be reasoned with. Like that's a personal preference. And so I'm not the biggest fan of this, but they are, as Matt mentioned, a perfect foil for Frieren.
So, the thing is, they are smart enough to be reasoned with. The problem is their wants and desires are
alien.
They're so incompatible with human society. Like from their point of view, like the flashback we get, that creature could genuinely be thinking it's doing the right thing. Yeah. I have paid back what you think I took from you. I disagree with that concept, but
that's the thing. There's a logic to it.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of, some people will apply this to why the term is not coming to me, but why we anthropomorphize like animals or pets or something. It's just like, that does not, no.
Spiders don't feel pain.
It's not smiling at you, like, no.
Like the series is saying that these are monsters, not people. It's just because they look like people. There's that sort of like reflex of mind to want to see them that way, which I get is the point. I don't think I'm conveying this well.
I think the series is also kind of saying that it's not wrong to want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think Frieren is thinking that, but Frieren's also normally conveying kind of...
She thinks in a very logical...
She's giving...
Blunt, aggressive, and direct.
Yeah, she's giving amoral advice a lot of the time, whereas I think the human characters have the opinion that we should give them the benefit of the doubt. That is something they deserve, and that is the society we want to be in, where this is a thing we entertain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That they probably think that maybe they were a little too trusting with yes, take our peace ambassadors in. One demon can kill many people, but we'll let you just walk through the city.
Please accept our peace ambassadors into your city that has a barrier that prevents demons from entering en masse. Please show us into your castle where the nexus point of such a spell would be located.
Our army is standing within attack range outside. Like, I don't agree with how they've set up this peace accord, but
I'm just saying it worked.
Well, even onto the trap air quotes, sprung on the demon, that wouldn't have worked.
One of the it should be noted that these demons are in service of one of the Demon King's former generals, Aura, who Frieren has some past with, you might expect. And one of the two younger attendant demons is like, I'm not gonna let that mage live. Sure, she got arrested. She's locked in prison for like 2 years, whatever. I'm gonna go end her right now because what's to stop a powerful mage like that?
I love how Frieren's just like, I'm in jail for 2 years. Well, you guys should go get me some books.
Yep. she was dead ass ready to do the Skyrim just sleep off your sentence thing.
She did the crime. She's ready to do her time. And then proceed to get out of jail and immediately do the crime again.
Yes.
I feel so reformed.
The demon attendant goes and decapitates the guard and goes into the cage to murder Frieren. And he thinks that he's got this all sorted out. He's got his Walter Helsing invisible magic wires like going to like hang her from the rafters or whatever.
Oh man, this is just Helsing. It's a little girl and somebody with magic wires.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Did you think I was going to fall for that? I put a magic barrier around my neck, idiot. Yeah, well, try having your mana survive this, idiot. I think I don't need to worry about that. What happened to your arm? What do you mean what happened to my... Fires a huge blast of magic that slices both of his arms off.
I need those.
I need those, otherwise I can't strangle you. Hold on, wait, let's talk. No, snaps his neck.
The one thing about demons is that our bodies completely dissolve into mana when we die. Now it looks like you did a murder bid.
Well, that's inconvenient.
Time to leave the city and never return.
Yep.
You think she was actually going to do it too?
She was in the process of leaving the city to never return.
That's the thing. I think to some extent she's aware that her companions wouldn't have let her do that because
I don't know. I was kind of like, it just happened to have this happenstance that, oops, I guess I ran into them.
I'm going to be honest. I think her plan is what actually ends up happening. Just she wasn't going to talk to her companions at all. She's just like, well, time to go outside the city walls and finish this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they hold off on telling you that because they want that to be the big end of volume surprise.
Yep, because so Frieren is heading out right about the time that Fern and Stark are like, all right, I guess we got to go deal with those demons. Mistress Frieren is probably right. Let's head up to the castle and... Hey, Frieren, what are you doing out here? Shh, no, I'm disguised.
I'm being sneaky. No, everyone knows it's you. You're the only person in a completely black hood. Like that... That's what a child thinks a disguise is. Shut up. Also, you two look pretty strong. Those demons we fought, I bet you could fight them yourselves. I'm gonna go leave now. Why?
Because the big boss demon's outside the walls. Oh, actually, yeah, you go deal with that.
Okay.
Particularly Stark and Frieren are both like, yeah, I really don't like fighting equal opponents. It's like difficult and unpleasant and kind of scary. And Frieren's like, yeah, it's really tedious and annoying to fight an actual equal. Anyway,
an unpleasant job done quickly gets done faster.
Yeah, we
have a pretty cool fight where the big boss demon has sprung his plan and taken the Graft hostage. It's like, hey, so that powerful barrier that the Great Mage Flam put up 1,000 years ago, your bloodline controls that, doesn't it? You wanna tell me the password? I can just keep torturing you.
I'll come back in a little bit. I got to go exposition in the hallway for a while.
Yep.
He then proceeds to just drop demon lore. Like, did you know that every single demon picks a very specific style of magic and studies that to perfection?
That's why I'm so good with blood magic, and my remaining attendant is so skilled at detecting mana. What do you mean these two powerful adventurers managed to sneak in here under her detection radar?
Oh, there's a whole thing where I don't even detect the second one, but it's just a really cool fight.
It is a really cool fight, yep. Because, hey, you remember that thing where Stark was supposed to hold off the dragon for 30 seconds in order for a deadly blast to be charged? They pull that off here. He fights Lugir. I think that's the first time we've mentioned his name. The big boss demon. Long enough for Fern to charge her super move and blow a hole in his chest. Sadly, it does not kill him, but it gives them enough opportunity to grab the graft and run.
Oh, but it's got my favorite line of Luger, like going like, "I need to stop my body from bleeding. I'll come after you. You go take care of the small fry. You can probably handle them." But that magic, they called it it's Zoltrak. Zoltrak, magic for killing humans. That's not what that was. Someone has reformed that into magic for killing demons, which shouldn't be possible.
So this is a problem. The only person who had power like that, I ran into them a century ago in the battle for the Demon King, and now I remember where I saw that girl before. That was Frieren, the Slayer, which is name dropped as Frieren is floating, silhouetted against the moon to face off against the demon army with the big general right there.
Because as we've established, Frieren is much stronger than this sage.
It's freaking awesome.
Whoop. This is awkward.
Yep. And that's where we get to the end of our reading, because that is the end of volume 2.
So, as always, we ask a favorite character. I really liked Hyder. For only being alive for 2 chapters, he has such a powerful presence and such a fun character. He's so selfish, but like he knows that about himself, so he tries to direct it into wisdom to help make other people's lives better, even if he's still being entirely self-serving with it.
The Amuro Ray, if you will.
He kind of do be, yeah. But how about you, Jake? Who's your favorite character?
Boy, it's either Fern or Frieren. They play off of each other so well. They're what I love about them is kind of tied into each other. Probably say Fern, just because her level of done is quite amusing, and she can play that off of Stark as well. But man, Frieren is we have another goblin protagonist. I love this.
Yeah.
He's an elf, you racist.
How about you, Matt?
Oh, I know I normally like being a contrarian and don't like picking the main character, but Frieren is so my jam. I love like people just dealing with sadness in like a motivational way and like not even coming to terms with it and kind of just living with it. And she's like taking it one step at a time. I don't even mind that she's overpowered, because the fact that the story is not about her being the strongest. It's about like coming to terms with her friend's death.
Yeah, her extreme magical power isn't going to help her emotional problems.
If anything, the fact that she's so powerful kind of enhances that element of her.
Yeah. So yeah, she's an easy pick for this. She is the reason the story's happening.
All right, and Jay.
Normally, I am all gung-ho for the quote-unquote goblin-like female bosses, but I have to buck that trend and actually say I enjoyed mostly Fern. Honestly, the whole reason why I even really kept reading was because of Fern's burns, because honestly, I'm just like, thank you. You broke up the awkwardness of this situation. So yeah, hands down. Fern keeps her honest, again, probably more often than not, just having to go with the shenanigans and being like, this is flipping ridiculous. Why? So more out of circumstance and just exasperation. But I just really vibed with Fern, so she is my favorite, and she has grown so much, and she will be the most powerful of mages, and she won't take no shit because she's had to put up with literally
The most.
yes.
All right, and would you continue reading? Absolutely. I need to see this cool fight between Frieren and Aura, and then I want to get back to the grief journey because that made me feel a lot of things, and I really enjoyed it. Reverse order, Jay. How about you? Would you continue reading?
I don't know if I would. So as I kind of prefaced earlier on in this episode, I am familiar with D&D. I am familiar, I think, at least from my interpretation of what type of archetypes they're trying to construct. I was not too thrilled with the pacing, I think, was my main issue because, as I said, I probably, if we'd not encountered Fern, not have continued reading because I felt like it was really drawn out and really slow at parts. So I don't know if I would continue reading this particular work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jacob, how about you?
Definitely have to be in the right mood for this. I think there are cases where it goes full on into melancholy, but I think somber is the best way of describing it, I believe, as Matt said. If I were to be in the mood for a slow-paced, moody character drama centered around grief and the passage of time, then, I mean, that's what this is. Like, I literally just described this manga. There are other things that I'm a bit more inclined to read over this series, but very much feels like a, at some point the mood will strike and I'll just bite a big chunk out of it. And obviously, furthermore, I'd love to do another episode of this to just, get me to, push through it that much sooner. On my own, probably every now and again, but certainly not regularly.
All right, and Matt.
Oh, yeah, of course I would read more of this. This is so narrowly my jam. It is a deconstruction of fantasy nonsense, kind of vaguely like a deconstruction of like the same setup of an isekai, but not with the weird power fantasy. The just idea of people dealing with sadness in productive ways is something I really enjoy. I like melancholy stories. I think I've gone on repeatedly. I don't think art deserves to make you feel comfortable, but I think Frieren actually, at its very heart, is a very like chicken soup kind of series. Like it is inherently making you comfortable with sad feelings. Is kind of the deal about it. Hence why I prefer somber to melancholy for a description for it. But yeah, I would love to keep reading this and probably will check out it. I do have one hesitation with where we got to in the demon fights. If it becomes just more demon fights against the 6 remaining generals, I'm not sure how I'd feel about that.
It's not what you signed up for.
Yeah. I mean, I do love unrepentant monsters, and I love the fact that they are allowed to exist in a meta-fictional space where it seems like everyone wants to give everything multiple sides when, sometimes things are what they appear to be.
All right. And thank you, everyone, once again for tuning in to the Over Manga Cast. As always, you can find us on all your social medias where we are at Over Manga Cast. And make sure to visit overmangacast.com in order to keep up with the latest episodes.
You can also check us out on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. You can, those episodes go up on a 2-week delay, but give us any comments on what you think of the episode, what you think we should read next, any other series recommendations. We love hearing from you.
We also appreciate reviews in any and all form on really just, any place you can find them. Just drop a review, 5 stars. We don't care. Tell us we're great. We already know that, but we always love the feedback. And what the hell?
What the hell?
I think a bat flew into my recording studio. Hold it. Oh, go, God!
Oh, no, not this again. Oh, no.
September is over, and now the spooky season begins.
Okay, well, Jay, get the steak. Jacob, get the garlic. And you all make sure to read The Summer Hikaru Died, chapters 1 through 14 for next week. We'll see you all next Thursday, provided we can purify Matt. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Why the heck would I do that? That's an improvement. But good night, everyone.
Oh, that makes me very unhappy. Bleh.